was supposed to be a simple loaf of bread. You know the drill, just flour, water, and a tiny, tiny pinch of ultra-rise enchanted yeast. I've made bread 100 times before. What could possibly go wrong? Well, apparently, everything. Because I think, just maybe, I accidentally grabbed the wrong jar. Instead of ultra-rise, I think I used the infinite growth powder. Yes, that one. The one with the big, red, danger, do not use indoors label that I conveniently ignored. The second I turned my back to grab a rolling pin, the bowl started growling. I'm not joking. Not a gentle gurgle, but a deep, guttural growl, like a grumpy bear waking up from a nap. This dough didn't just rise, it gained sentience. It developed a mind of its own and apparently decided that its destiny was far greater than being confined to a simple glass bowl. Before I could even mutter the word sordo, it had flopped itself over the counter like a giant, sticky marshmallow monster and was making a beeline for the exit. The great dough escape was officially on. I tried to grab it, but have you ever tried to wrestle a sentient cloud of gluten? It's like trying to catch a greased pig at a summer fair, only 10 times stickier and much more likely to leave mysterious, flowery footprints on the ceiling. It slid off the counter with a wet asterisk schlop asterisk sound and began its slow, relentless crawl across my kitchen floor. I was in a full-blown panic. This was no longer baking. This was a monster movie, and I was a star, armed with nothing but a flimsy spatula and a growing sense of dread. The dough, now the size of a beanbag chair, was surprisingly agile. I lunged, trying to corral it back towards the counter, but it was like trying to hug a waterfall of goo. It just slipped right through my fingers, leaving a trail of sticky residue in its wake. It was mocking me, I swear. I could almost hear it laughing, a low, bubbling chuckle as it squelched its way towards freedom. My kitchen was becoming a disaster zone, a sticky, flour-dusted battlefield. I cornered it near the toaster, thinking I had it trapped. I was wrong! So very wrong! The dough performed what I can only describe as a tactical blob roll, a maneuver so smooth and unexpected it would make a secret agent jealous. It lunged sideways, avoiding my grasp, and headed straight for the living room. It was expanding by the second, a creamy, white amoeba taking over my floor space. It engulfed my favorite spatula, Gary. He just got back from his spatula strike. Poor guy. Now he was lost to the blob, a prisoner of the rising tide. The dough seemed to have its sights set on my couch, probably planning to claim it as its new kingdom, the great throne of gluten. I had to think fast before my entire house became one giant, inedible sandwich. What stops a runaway carb? What could possibly stand against this yeasty leviathan? My eyes darted around the kitchen, past the spice rack, beyond the knife block. Then I saw it! Tucked away on the top shelf, behind the emergency sprinkles, was my last resort, the deep freeze flour shaker. This wasn't ordinary flour. It was enchanted with a cryo spell, designed specifically for containing magical baking mishaps. I hadn't used it in years, not since the exploding cupcake incident of 22. But desperate times call for desperate measures. With a dramatic leap over the kitchen island, channeling my inner action hero, I landed gracefully on the other side, shaker in hand. The dough paused, its gelatinous form quivering as if it sensed a change in the air. This was it. The final showdown. It's over. Dough! I yelled, probably sounding like a lunatic. Your reign of terror is finished. I twisted the cap off the shaker and, with a flick of the wrist, began to sprinkle a containment ring of the deep freeze flour around the blob. The effect was instantaneous. The moment the enchanted flour touched its sticky surface, the dough hissed. A loud, angry hiss, like air escaping a punctured tire. It wobbled violently, trying to breach the magical barrier, but the cold was too much for it. Its ambitious expansion halted. It shivered, it jiggled, and finally, with a long, drawn-out sigh, it settled down into a shivering, oversized, and thankfully stationary heap in the middle of my living room floor. Silence. The only sound was my own heavy breathing and the faint, frosty crackle coming from the now-named dough mound. I think we've reached an understanding for now, the dough and I. A fragile truce. But I'm definitely not turning my back on it again. I'm sleeping with one eye open tonight, and maybe with the deep freeze shaker on my nightstand, just in case. And I'm not trying to be paranoid, but I'm pretty sure, I'm almost certain, I just saw the oven door move on its own. What am I going to do with a 100-pound lump of semi-sentient frozen dough? I can't just throw it out. It feels wrong. It has personality, you know? A very sticky, very problematic personality, but a personality nonetheless. I spent the next hour just staring at it, contemplating my options. Do I try to bake it in shifts? That would take weeks. Do I try to reason with it? Unlikely to work. Maybe I could give it a name. I'm thinking Blobby. As I was pondering this, I noticed something. A small piece had broken off during the chase and was sitting near the leg of the dining table. It was just a small lump, about the size of my fist. It hadn't been hit by the deep freeze flour, and it was twitching. It was slowly, but surely, trying to inch its way back to the main mass, like a lost puppy trying to find its mother. My heart did a little flip. It was kind of cute, in a terrifying, blob monster sort of way. I carefully scooped up the little piece with a different spatula Gary's understudy, I guess. It wiggled in my hand. Okay, this is weird. I have a pet dough ball now. I put it in a small bowl, and it immediately started trying to climb out. This infinite growth powder is no joke. I need a long-term solution. My house can't become a permanent terrarium for magical dough creatures. That's when I had an idea. A crazy, probably stupid idea, but it was the only one I had. There's a legend about a place called the Valley of the Unbaked, a mythical land where forgotten pastries and abandoned sourdough starters go to live out their days in peace. Most people think it's just the baker's fairy tale, but I have an old map. My great-aunt was a bit of an eccentric baker herself, and she swore it was real. So, here's the plan. I'm going to keep the big guy, Blobby, frozen for now. It seems stable enough. But this little one, this mini Blobby, I'm going to train it. If I can teach it to listen, to stay, maybe even to fetch a rolling pin. Then maybe, just maybe, I can lead it to the valley. And if I can lead the small one, I can figure out how to transport the big one there too. My house will be safe, and the dough will be free. It's a long shot, I know. But right now, as I watch this little lump of goo trying to scale the side of a mixing bowl, I feel a strange sense of responsibility. This was my mistake, after all. I brought this creature into the world. It's my job to see it through to a happy ending, even if that ending is in a mythical valley of uncooked carbohydrates. The great dough escape might be over, but I think the great dough adventure is just beginning. Wish me luck! And if you see a person trying to put a leash on a lump of dough in the park, don't judge. It's for a good cause. Thanks for watching. And remember to always double-check your enchanted ingredients. I'll see you next time.